Waiting on God can be one of the most difficult tests of our faith. We live in a world of instant results and immediate responses, but God's timing is perfect and his ways are higher than ours. Waiting is not passive, it's active trust. It's holding on when nothing seems to be changing and believing God is still working behind the scenes. When you wait on God, you're not wasting time, you're investing it. You're being refined, developed, and prepared for what God has already prepared for you. Sometimes we confuse silence with absence, but God is never absent. The silence is where trust grows. It's in the waiting that your roots go deep. Are you weary? Are you frustrated with delays? Bring it to God. Pour out your heart in prayer and then be still. Even when it seems like nothing is moving, God is orchestrating everything according to his plan. Remember, God is never late. He's preparing you while preparing the promise. And when the time is right, no delay, no detour, and no devil can stop what he has ordained. So keep waiting, keep trusting, and keep worshiping. Your wait is not in vain. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Judith, an interior designer who is into all things design, DIY, lifestyle videos, and a little bit of fragrance stuff too. So if you're into that kind of a mix, then you're definitely in the right spot. So family, in today's video, we're going to be going over my living space and how I went about selecting, styling the pieces that I did to create the space that I created, that I'm totally in love with for the summertime. And I want you guys to be able to do this in your spaces as well. So I want you guys to start to think a certain way so that when you do your designs, you can feel more accomplished and that you did a really good job, and you're not sitting there saying something looks wrong, I didn't get it done. We don't want that, right? I want to give you guys all the knowledge that you need so that you can accomplish these things. Design is a passion for me and it is easy, guys. It is easy. You just have to open up your mind to it, and I want to pour some knowledge into the mind that you have opened up. Okay, so guys, open up your minds and let's talk design. So guys, I have some favorite things that I did that is just, I'm sitting and I'm in awe when I look at them, and we're gonna go over some of those. And yeah, I think if I did this, maybe I wouldn't feel the way I'm feeling about the styling that I did for this summer refresh. And guys, one of the stylings that I did, one of the additives that I did to the space that I am totally in love with is these artworks that I added right here. My favorite. I am so sorry that I did not film when I was DIYing this, but I do have some more to do, so I will film those so I can show you guys how affordable this is, even though it doesn't look affordable. These are very affordable. So guys, let me tell you about this styling and how much I'm so in love with it and how I went about doing the DIY here. I love how this turned out. Let's talk more about it. Okay guys, so let's talk about this. This white framing that you see in here, that is from the dollar store. So those are those card stocks that you can buy at the dollar store. You know, you can get them like in different colors and so that is what that is, okay? Now the image that you see on the inside, that image is also from the dollar store. Now that is like a draw liner, those peel and stick draw liners that you can purchase. That is what these are, okay? I just selected two that will go with my color palette that I'm going with, and I wanted them to be very subtle, Okay, so that is how I built this. So this, what I did is, those are 20 by 30. And I had to cut 2 inches off. Yeah, so it is 20, it is 28. The inside is 28, but the outside is 30. So I had to cut 2 inches off this way. And then I did an 8 by 8 square because I wanted my picture to be very, very small. And I wanted the mat to look like it's really big. So that is how I custom this artwork. And then of course I added my beautiful picture light to go right over it. So guys, that's how I created this. I do have to create some more, so I will definitely film those when I'm doing it. Okay, now here is the cheaper way to do it. We're still going to be at the dollar store, but when you go to the dollar store and you go where these cardstocks are, you're going to see a writing board. So it's one of those writing boards that you can put up and you get a marker and you write on it. Now you can use those, they're only $5. You can use those and create this same look that I created here, and instead of using it as a writing board, you'll be using it as a piece of artwork, a picture frame. Okay, so that is the next way that you can go ahead and create this look. Okay, and then down below I just decided to put the basket here and, you know, just have my blanket just thrown over. Okay, so that is my favorite change that I made in my space that I think really elevated the space. Now, okay, why did I choose such big pieces? Remember I told you guys, when you're in a small space, you don't want to use too many small things. You want to have 1 or 2 big items, and you want them to give an impact. Now just imagine that these were smaller artwork here. It probably would have looked like I need something more, it's not enough. It wouldn't have given that impact. But because I went with large scale frames, it took up a lot of visual space and it created this nice visual interest here. So bigger is better in small spaces, right? I need to create visual interest in my space that is going to cover a larger space versus smaller, if that makes sense to you guys. So always don't feel because you have a small space that you have to get a lot of little small things. Get one big item, use that big item to fill that space you need filled, and let it be an impact. Let me show you another thing that I did in my space that I think it fills the space really good because it's large, right? Hey guys, the camera never shows how large this is, but this is pretty large, and what it does is it fills up this corner with a lot of visual interest. It does what it has to do on its own, and it doesn't need any help. So the piece that you're trying to add, that's what you want to do. It does not need any help. You want it to be able to stand on its own. Okay, so guys, let's go ahead now and move on to my sofa. Okay guys, so let's look at my sofa and what I did on the sofa. So here on the sofa, as you can see, I kept my beautiful black and white cushions, pillow covers that I love so much. And what I did is I went ahead and I just added a new color in here to bring in a third color. So the third color that I brought in was purple. So I told you guys that I am going to be styling with purple in my space. And then to help balance that off, I brought this throw in. Guys, if you see this throw in Home Goods, don't purchase it. This thing sheds like crazy. Okay, I want you guys to see up close. And that's for me just laying on the couch, my feet barely touching it. It sheds. So again, I love to keep my sofa looking very clean line, not the pillows, not, you know, all over, too many pillows. Like, I just want to keep it very clean. And that's what I decided to do here. And again, it gives off this very elegant luxe look. So I did something very simple. All I did was add one pop of color to the sofa, and that is what dressed everything up. Okay, so what I am going to be doing for you guys is I am going to restyle my sofa with some different colors and show you guys how having a neutral piece, how many options that gives you. Okay, so next let's move on to the coffee table. Okay guys, on to my coffee table. Now you guys know I love this coffee table. When I chose this coffee table, I had to choose between, do I want to go round or do I want to go rectangle? Do I want to go square? Now the reason why I decided to go round is because I wanted something that's going to give interest. And it's very hard to style a round coffee table the way that you would style a square or a rectangular coffee table. So not only did I want the actual challenge to be able to style the table, I also wanted a piece that was going to give me a lot of interest. And this coffee table gives me a lot of interest. Why? She is large. She is bulky. She is all that and a bag of chips. This coffee table, if I'm not mistaken, let me get the measurements. I think it is 36 inches or bigger. Okay guys, let's measure her, right? I forgot how big this coffee table is. She is 40 inches, so she is over she's 40 inches. So it's over 3 feet and is a little bit below 4 feet. Okay, so you can see how large this coffee table is. So when you're styling this coffee table, you either have to do a lot of little settings, like little vignettes on it, or you can do a cluster on it, works very well, or you can do it like how I like to do it. So I like to do it in threes. Typically when I am styling on this table, I do it in threes. Why threes? Because it's round. Okay, if it was square, if it was rectangle, then you kind of want to try to style in fours, right? So here's what I decided to do. I decided to go big. I wanted big pieces. I didn't want a skinny candlestick. I pulled out my very thick looking candlesticks. Again, what am I doing? I'm creating visual interest by going large. Okay, and what I decided to do is also keep it very neutral. So because I didn't want it to look too much was going on the table, I went with a black candlestick and a white one. And the black is basically kind of disappearing if you think about it. Okay, because it's on top of a black table. So these are different ways that you can trick the eye when you're planning out your decor and trying to make your decor work in your space. Okay, again, we have a small space, so in this small space we have to be very intentional when we select what we're selecting. Now, as I say, I have a very large coffee table, but as you can see, my sofa still extends beyond the coffee table, right? Now, you do not want, if this coffee table was, let's say, a little rectangular one, it would have been floating in the floor. So now I didn't just want to have just the coffee table by itself. I want to also bring some more interest to it, and one of the tricks that I like to use when I want to bring interest to my piece or to my coffee tables is, over the years I've seen it work very, very, very well for me. I have given people advice to also use it and also worked for them, and that is to add a cocktail table to your coffee table. So your cocktail table is going to give another sense of interest. It's going to make the table look a little bit even bigger. So if you have a smaller table in your space, you kind of want to add like a cocktail table to it, which is going to give a little bit more height, more interest, and it's filling up more visual space. Okay, so I found this coffee table right here from Home Goods. I probably have it about going on 3 years, 2 to 3 years, and I love this table. table. Okay, I did used to have a previous one that was, you know, more slender, but this baby right here, that's my baby. Okay, so let's move on now to back on top of the table and how I decided to style it. Now, I wanted to add some books, but I didn't want my books to be too many books, and I also didn't want them to have variations of color, right? I didn't want them to have, like, say, oranges and those. I didn't want that. When I styled before, I wanted that. In this instance, when I'm styling for summer, I did not want that, right? Because I didn't want anything competing with the little bit of purple that I am going to put into this space. So one way I decided to add purple in the space, because it was very difficult for me to find purples in the stores, is I went with a candle, right? So I do have this candle. So this is the purple that I wanted to use throughout the space, but it was very difficult to find this in store. Okay, so when I found this candle, I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to incorporate this purple as much as I can into the space. Now, I didn't want to, when you're trying to incorporate color into a space, you don't have to go crazy with it, right? I see some people when they want to say, oh, I'm going to use gold. And when they go to the store, everything that they see gold, they pick up and come home and want to put all this gold throughout your space. That is the wrong approach to take when you're trying to add something to a space. Less is more in design. Okay, the more you use something, the cheaper it starts to look. That's why I'm not a fan of buying a full set of something. So buying a full set of this sofa, it starts to look like it's a furniture store. It doesn't look intentional anymore. It just looked like you didn't know what you were doing. You want to play it safe, so you bought the full set. The same thing with a bedroom set. You know, buying the whole set. That's not intentional, okay? So let's move on now. So that's why I was very minimal with my books, and I went with the high and lows, okay? Next, what I did is I decided to add this very large bowl. I got this from Ross, and I think the price, this was only $16.99 from Ross, and I have this probably about 2 to 3 years as well, and I think this is my first time using it, if I'm not mistaken. I used it, I think, for Christmas. Yes, I think I used it for Christmas, and that was it, and then I put it away. But what I love about this bowl is that I love the texture on it, right? The texture is bringing in that visual interest. Now, what is another color that I probably could have put here and gotten away with it? I could have put a really nice gold bowl here as well, but probably not one that has a shiny finish, but one that has more of a brush finish on it, or is matted. That would have worked perfectly here too. So that is another idea and another color that I could have put in here, and it would have worked perfectly. Okay, but I didn't have a gold bowl. I do have a chrome silver one, but I didn't want to introduce silver over here. Why? Because of this brush finish of this gold that I have on my cocktail table. This gold that I have over here. I would have had to find something else with some kind of silver to add throughout somewhere over here to make that silver piece work. So when you do it once, at least let it be bouncing off of something else. Okay, so that's why a gold piece would have worked here perfectly as well. But I didn't have a gold one, but I did have this beautiful bowl. And then inside of the bowl, I decided to put these moss balls that I picked up from, I think I did a haul on them. I think it's from Hobby Lobby is where I got these from. I've been wanting to get me some of these, but I was always, every time I see them, I'm like, I'm not paying that for them. I was always cheap. So they had a sale and I bought some. I wish I had bought 2 packs, but in any case, so I'm loving this. What is this doing? It's bringing texture to this whole setup right here. It's bringing texture. It's being very organic. So you've seen all this organic stuff going on, and it's bringing color as well. Now, green and purple, they work perfectly together. Why? They're on the opposite side of the color wheel. So when you're thinking about putting colors together, and are these colors going to complement each other? Are they going to fight against each other? Think on where they're located on the color wheel. If they're completely opposite from each other, they're going to be able to work together. They're going to match. They're going to be a good marry for each other, right? So green is perfect, plus it's bringing that nature color into your space. And you will find with those colors that come out of nature, they work with just about almost every color that you want to put with them. Okay, and then for the big grand finale, the thing that created, or the thing that started this whole thing in terms of what color I was going to use in my space for this summer refresh, is this vase right here. So it's a vase, it's a jar. I didn't want too much happening here again, because I wanted the look to be very simple, very elegant, very luxe looking. And again, you see how large this jar is. It's large, it's see-through, and it has a hint of color. Okay, so the hint of that purple color is not purple screaming at you, because I can tell you purple is one of those colors that can be very hard to decorate with, because people can tend to go too far with it. Okay, so you have to know when to not go too far. Purple is more like of a royal looking color. Like blue is a very royal looking color. Red is a very royal looking color. So when you go too far with it, you start to cheapen it. Okay, so you just want to do little hints of it here and little hints of it there. Okay, so I didn't want to take away, compete or anything with this large jar that I have here. Remember, we're going big. So you go big or you go home. So all I wanted to do was add one little branch in here. I did not want to add a whole big arrangement where it's just blooming over. That would have completely killed this entire styling if I had done that. If I had put in one of my other stems in here that has a lot of foliage on it, and it was just it would have killed it. When you want to go soft, elegant, luxe, less is more. So adding that one stem that's just gracefully, if you saw when I was doing the styling, I bent it so it can gracefully bend over, and that's it. And that is how you correlate a coffee table to look elegant, to look luxe, and to look very graceful. So that is how I styled this coffee table, and that is the reason why I chose some of the pieces that I chose. Okay, now guys, let's move over into the kitchen area and let's see what I got going on over there. Okay guys, so we're in the kitchen. So what I decided to do in the kitchen is I decided to change up this area right here and make it feel, it was feeling a little cluttered when I had the book here and everything. So I decided to change it up and make it have a completely different feel. Okay, so I went ahead and I added some artwork, and you would notice that I didn't add a black frame artwork here. I did have it here, and I said, not in this corner, right? So I changed it up to this. If you guys remember from my house, when I had my house, this artwork used to be styled in my living room on the bookshelf next to the fireplace, right? And I always love this artwork because I just love the taupe colors in it, right? So this is the La Citadel in Haiti. That's what this is a picture of, and why I think it is because it's a very mysterious looking image because of all the clouds and everything. I just think it's very beautiful, and I love what this does. So when I was moving my storage, and I was like, oh, I forgot about these. I forgot I have these. I was really happy to pull this out And I said I have to find a way to incorporate it into the design. So what I have here is I have a marble book stand that I've had this for years now, and if I'm not mistaken, I bought this from West Elm. Then I added this amber jar here, and I brought the purple in by using the foliage, right? And then of course some white flowers. I felt like this wasn't enough, so when I add this, I was like, yes, that's it. And then the next thing I also did is I brought in some candlesticks. Now it's okay for me to have used these 3 small candlesticks over here because they're very slender in size. And do you see how elegant all of that came together? And look, I think over here is beautiful. I decided to move my knife set on top of the stove. So guys, what do you think about this styling? I think it looks amazing. It looks very cool, warm, inviting. I really like it. Tell me down in the descriptions what you guys think about this little vignette that I created over here. Okay guys, let's move over to this side. Now, the only thing that is bothering me with this side is I feel like I have too much stuff on top of my counter. But again, I have a very small space and I don't have anywhere to put stuff. Typically, I will put my appliances away. But here in this apartment, I've had to leave them on top here. Now, I didn't want the toaster to just be sitting here, but I think I need to move the basket. But in any case, I went ahead and I left the basket here. And what I did is I add some books here with a book stand, and again I add another picture. Now this time you're gonna see with the picture I went ahead and I did the black. Why did I do the black on this side but it wasn't working on that side? Okay, so the reason why I use black work over here better is because of the rest of the decor that I actually have going on over here on this side, right? That's why black works. I have a lot more black things that you're seeing, or dark in color that you're seeing happening over on this side, but I did not have it over there, so it was kind of looking a little too stark over on that side. Okay, and again, this is just another image of the La Citadelle in Haiti. And then to bring some more color in there, I added this little foliage here. I just added that there, and I wanted to elevate them, so I put them on top of this because this is a counter, and if it gets wet, I don't want to have to be grabbing too much stuff. I've had that issue with having my books on top of the counter and then they got wet and all that stuff. So I was learning from my mistake. Even though I still have these here, I feel like I can quickly grab those. Okay, so that is what I have going on over here in this corner. Tell me how you guys feel about it. Again, my only issue I have with it is I wish my appliances were not here, but they are. And the next thing that I went ahead and I did is I added these to the decor. This is helping to subtly bring in the purple as well. So I have this one here, and then I added one over by the wash. So guys, that is it. Those are the simple little things that I did to the space to change it up and give it a whole different feel. Okay, I didn't have to spend a whole bunch of money to do this. So you can just shop your home. You have to first decide make a plan. You know, I always say that. So first decide, what colors do I want to use? Do I have anything in these colors that I can use? And shop your home before you go out and start shopping. Okay, so these are the simple things. I know that my next step should have been my bedroom, but you guys will see in a future video that your girl closet came tumbling down. My closet came tumbling down, and now all of my clothing that I had hung on that one wall, all of my bags, everything. So all of the clothes is now in my bedroom. So my bedroom is, yeah. So as it rains, it pours over here. Listen, we always have something going on over here on Jag ByDesign, so you do not want to miss none of it. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed as yet, okay? Because we always got something going on over here. So guys, that is it. So you would not be seeing the bedroom portion of it quite yet, but you are going to see it because I already have the stuff to do it. So at some point I need to get it done, but I have to refix or figure out how I'm going to do my closet. I did come up with a design, but I'm not sure if I feel like spending the money that that design is going to require me to spend. Okay guys, so on that note guys, I'm going to see you guys on my next one. Don't forget to drop your comment down below and tell me which part of this whole styling that you enjoyed the most, and if you're going to try any of it in your space. Now I know some of you may say I've added a whole nother picture light. Let's discuss that real quick. Yes, I added another picture light. It's on this side of the wall. However, the picture light that I had over my mirror on this side of the room, I removed that one because it was too much. So I took that one down. So over the artwork that's right over the chair, that one has a picture light. The two artworks that I hung, that has a picture light, and of course you know this picture light that was always over on this side. So I did remove one of the picture light because yes, it would have been too much. So I had to choose which one I preferred to see, and I definitely preferred to see the picture light over the two artworks versus the one that was over the mirror. And I already was making it work because it was gold and the mirror was a black frame, and I was like, you're mixing metals. It's very hard for someone like me to mix metals. It doesn't last for too long, okay? But mixing metals is quite fine. It's okay to mix metals. All right guys, so guys, that is it. Those are the only areas in my space that I made a change to, and they're working out for me. I'm loving it. And don't talk about how it actually smells. In here it smells amazing. Okay, so guys, I will see you guys on my next upload. And don't forget, if you are not walking with God, you are walking with the devil. And if your God is dead, come and serve the God that I serve, because he is worthy. Guys, I will see you guys on my next one. Bye. Always remember, never let your budget dictate your style, but create a space that you love. Design for life.